Good day, everybody. This is Jennifer from Garden Jen's Journey. I'm glad you could join me today in my kitchen. Today I am doing some Sabbath preparation meals. What that means is basically I'm making meals ahead of time for Sabbath, our worship day. That way we're not cooking on the Sabbath. We closely regard the fourth commandment, just like any other commandment that's found in Exodus 20. And 8 through 11, it gives you a really broad idea of what the Sabbath commandment's all about. But anyways, since we're not really supposed to do any type of work that includes massive amounts of cooking and meal preparation, we do so the day before. So today, I am making some granola and some vegetarian sausage. So we have it for breakfast tomorrow, so we can have a nice, hearty, healthy breakfast before we go to church. So vegetarian sausage, I know it sounds really weird, and it sounds just awkward. How do you make sausage out of vegetables? Well, because my family is mostly vegetarian, we do eat some meat. The guys generally do. I mainly stick vegetarian myself. I Googled things, and it's amazing what you can find on the internet. Anyways, I came across a recipe that I tweaked a little bit for our family. And it uses oats, and it uses rice, and to make it even heartier, you can use brown rice, and some other ingredients. And when it gets all worked together and cooks up, it has the consistency and texture and the flavor of sausage, so much that my men folk enjoy it a little bit better than meat-style sausage sometimes. So anyways, we're going to make that now, and then we'll move on to the granola. So again, for the vegetarian sausage, we're going to use rolled oats, old-fashioned oats. And then to that, I'm going to add some cooked rice. I have white rice today. I didn't have time to really prepare some brown rice since my day's a little hectic and the days are shorter in the winter. But ahead of time, if you want to cook brown rice, go ahead. It makes the dish even that more healthier. So we're going to add 2 cups of rice. Again, it's pre-cooked rice. And then we're going to add our spices and things that go along with that. Excuse me, my cookbook is falling all over the table. And it's hard to follow a recipe if your cookbook's falling all over. Okay, there we go. Alright, so as binders and things like that, we're going to use some flour. This is whole wheat flour. And then we're also going to add some brown sugar. It helps sweeten it up a little bit. And then to add another nutritional punch to it, we're going to add nutritional yeast flakes. These are not the yeast that you use to make bread. It's nutritional yeast flakes, otherwise known as brewer's yeast in some areas. You can find it in your local health food store, or you can order it online, I am sure. So we're going to put that in there. And you know, the sausage has fat in it. I mean, that's what sausage is made of, to help bind it together and give it the juices and things that people really enjoy. Well, vegetarian sausage is no different. It needs some fat, so we're adding some vegetable oil. And then we're also going to add the seasonings that make the sausage sauce. So in this, we have parsley, sea salt, lots of sage. I don't know if you really taste it in the sausage or not. Some people really can tell, but it's got the sage in it. It's got black pepper, and it's got some of the red pepper flakes. We just use a little bit of the red pepper flakes because it really packs a punch. It's got nutmeg. And let's see, what else? And thyme. So there's, this looks like a lot of seasoning. I mean, there's a lot in here. I don't know if you can see how big this container is. But one thing that I noticed, and this is what you learn from trial and error, is things like rice and oats and your starchy ingredients really absorb flavor. So if you don't add a lot of flavor, your meals turn out bland. So this is actually twice the amount that the actual recipe that I had at first called for. And so we find through trial and error that this gives it the sausage flavor and it's not bland. So anyways, we'll add that to that. And then I don't know how many of you like maple flavored sausage, but we do here at the house. We like the balance of the sweetness with the spice. So I also add maple syrup to it. And you can use, if you want, the imitation stuff, but we used either the actual maple syrup or we use a brown rice syrup that's flavored with maple. We don't use the high fructose corn syrup type of syrups because they're just not healthy for you. So we'll add that in there. And then also to this, we're going to add a couple of eggs. Now you can do this vegan style using egg substitutes, like the recipe for making it vegan calls for the flaxseed, ground flaxseed and oil blend that makes it an eggy consistency. But since we're not always vegan here, we kind of let our diet wobble a little bit, I guess you could say. We're not really strict on it. We do use eggs. Most of the time we use eggs from our own chickens. But during this time of year, they don't lay a lot because of the cold weather. They're trying to stay warm and survive. So we go ahead and use store-bought eggs. If you can get organic, great, do so. You know, I know sometimes that's not feasible due to monetary reasons. So I'm going to go get a couple of eggs and we'll add that. I like to keep the eggs in the refrigerator even when I'm getting ready to prepare a recipe, because I have a wood stove here in the kitchen and it tends to get really, really warm. And you don't want your eggs warm, especially those that you buy from the store. They don't last as long as fresh eggs from the farm. So we're just going to add that in there. I find that 2 eggs works for this recipe. You do it by feel. If you feel that it's not binding together enough, add another egg. You know, if it's too liquidy, add some more, just a little more rice or oats. So again, a lot of the things with cooking, you have to do it by feel. Once you get the experience, you know what it's supposed to look like, what it's supposed to smell like, what it's supposed to feel like, what it's supposed to taste like. And so you just work with your recipes to get that flavor, texture, look that you're looking for. I want to mix this really well, especially with all the spices in it. This looks like a green mess because of all the sage and parsley and thyme that's in it. But it's very delicious. Now, if I had a food processor, generally what you do is you blend the oats, some of the oats with the rice, and it really gives it that meaty kind of texture that most people are used to when they bite into sausage. Now we're going to put it on 2 cookie sheets, and I go ahead and spray these with nonstick cooking spray. Spray it real good because you don't want these to stick. And then just, you can use a ice cream scoop if you want. I just use my hands. I don't mind getting my hands dirty, and it's not that hard to walk over to the sink and wash them. So you just put some clumps of this gooey mess on to a cookie sheet. Put them about 2 inches apart. They're not going to spread that much, but you want to give them room to breathe and for the heat to circulate around them so they cook correctly. Otherwise they won't cook and you'll end up with some gummy kind of ick. And you can make your sausage patties any size you like. My family really loves them. So I tend to sometimes make them a little bit on the larger side. That way they can just grab 2 and go instead of grabbing 3 or 4 or whatever. but it's all up to you. The Sabbath day is a very special day for us. I said it's a day that we get together and we have our worship time and we spend the time with the Lord. And the whole Sabbath commandment is just about being able to rest and relax in the Lord. You know, some people use it to say, oh, you're being very restrictive. You can't do this, can't do that. And it's not about that at all. The whole idea behind the commandment is that you just take a break. Take a break from the world. Spend time with our Creator who took a break on the seventh day to spend time with us. So if you think about it that way, you know, the God of the universe took time out of his busy schedule of creating things to spend the day with you and I. So he asked us just to enjoy that day with him by not doing any work and not making others work. That way we all can together spend time with him. I think that's kind of awesome. All right. So here's my sausage patties. Not very pretty looking, but let me tell you, they do taste wonderful. So what you do with these is you put them in a 350-degree oven, and you cook them for 20 minutes. Turn them over, cook them again for another 20 minutes. They should be nice and golden brown. If you have folks who like that fried texture to them, what you can do after that, after they're cooked in the oven, because the oven makes sure they're evenly cooked, is you can go ahead and throw them on the fry pan and just fry them up that way just on the sides, just to get them nice and fried, so people have that flavor going on too. So I'm going to go put these in the oven, wash my hands, and we'll be right back to make granola. I love these recipes because they're so easy and so tasteful. Now the granola that I'm going to be making, it actually comes from a recipe from one of our favorite Christian camps that we go to. It's a not just a summer camp, it's a year-round camp. They have camp all year for different reasons. You have your kids' camps, your family camps, your specialty camps, where you learn certain things. It's just a blast. Anyways, the Camp Granola is very famous there, and one of the cooks was nice enough to share the recipe with me. So I tweaked it a little bit for our family, and so I'm going to show you how I make it here. Okay, you need a big bowl. And not dropping knives on the floor, that would be good. Okay, so the granola is really simple. Some people think granola is very difficult to make. It actually is very simple. You just need to get your ingredients together, throw them in the bowl, mix them up, put them on the pan, put them in the oven. That's simple, really. So we're going to do that. For this granola, it makes a huge batch. It makes about 12 cups worth of granola. So the granola is really simple. Some people think granola is very difficult to make. It actually is very simple. You just need to get your ingredients together, throw them in the bowl, mix them up, put them on the pan, put them in the oven. That's simple, really. So we're going to do that. For this granola, it makes a huge batch. It makes about 12 cups worth of granola. So it makes enough to feed you for a week. So it has rolled oats, the old-fashioned kind. Might actually need a big roll. It has the quick oats, which are the really tiny, fine ones that cook up really quickly. Alright. And I'm actually going to need a bigger bowl. So let me go wash that one up real quick. I'll be right back with you. Dry it out a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's going to have wet ingredients anyway. Alright, so I'm going to put the oats into the bigger bowl. You'll see why in a minute. Not much difference in size, but there is. Okay, and then to that, this is the base. To that, you add whatever you want, basically, to make your granola unique. You add, I'm going to move these out of the way. We're adding coconut flakes. This is unsweetened coconut, unsweetened shredded coconut. There is the sweetened kind, which most people find in the baking section, but we use the unsweetened. You really don't need extra sugar in this. Add that. And then it has pecans and almonds, slivered almonds and chopped pecans. And then it has sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. And these are all raw, meaning they're not roasted and salted and things. These are all raw because they're actually going to get cooked in the granola. Raw sunflower seeds can be a little bit harder to find. You might have to go to a local health food store or a bulk store to find those. Or if you want to spend time splitting sunflower seeds, you can buy them in the shell and do it that way. But anyway, so that goes in there. And then to that, one of the reasons you don't need the shredded coconut is we're adding some sugar already to it. This is cane sugar, just regular cane sugar. Sometimes if I'm feeling in a creative mood, I'll do half cane sugar and half raw honey. We get honey from our friends over at Whiteville Farms here in Michigan. They have some great, great honey. So we try to support them by buying their honey. All right. Then we're just going to mix that up. You also need to add just a little bit of salt. I know it seems weird, but the salt actually helps balance everything out. That's why sometimes, even in sweet recipes, you see salt, because salt actually, due to its nature, it balances the whole recipe out. So you add just a little bit so it can do its job. This is another recipe where you kind of get your hands all goopy and dirty, but it works better this way if you get your hands into the granola and just mix it ahead of time like this. Get it all mixed before you put in the wet ingredients. You don't have to mess with it when it's wet and risk the granola getting all clumpy and tough and things. So just mix it ahead of time. Alright, that's nicely mixed. I don't know if you can see it now, but we'll show it to you. See how nice and rich that already looks with all those nuts in there? Really, really yummy. And then to that, we're going to add oil. And then we're going to add maple syrup. And again, you can mix it with a spoon if you like, but I just use my hands. It works a lot better, and I can keep an eye on what's going on in here. You don't want to squeeze it and knead it like you would a bread dough or meatballs. You just want to lift and let it fall back down. This helps the wet and the dry ingredients combine. So again, we're not squeezing or anything. We're just lifting and letting it fall back down. And take your time with it. It's not a rush job. And once you can tell that the mixture is moist all the way through, that there's nothing dry, you can move on to putting it on the pan. We're almost there. Again, this is a lot of granola. It's about 12 cups worth, so it takes just a few minutes to make sure it's all combined. Alright, that looks good. Alright. Now we're going to put this on 2 large cookie sheets, or baking sheets, however you want to call them. And again, I spray these with cooking spray. It helps prevent the granola from sticking to it. That way you can stir it as it's baking. Otherwise, it'll stick to the pan and you won't be able to stir it. So I'm just gonna dump half there. I know you're blocked at the moment. Give you just a second. I'll get that out of the way. All right. So, you see, I just really packed this down. Or I didn't pack it down. I layered it down, so it's really full. Second sheet going here. Spray it real good. Dump it on there. Spread it out. All right. Alright, now that I've made that and made a mess all over my counter, which is okay, it means I'm cooking, right? We're going to put these after the sausage is done, because the sausage is the last item in my oven today. After that, these will be put into the oven at 350, and you're going to cook it for 10 minutes, stir it, break up all the chunks and stuff, make sure nothing's stuck to the bottom of the pan, lay it back out again. Cook it for another 10 minutes, and then shut the oven off. Stir it again, and then just close the oven and let it sit the rest of the day in the oven. And then in the morning, you will have fresh granola, and you can put it into a container. I'll show you what it looks like. So this is our container of homemade granola that I made earlier this week. You see how yummy that looks? It's got it's nice and golden brown. It does have some chunks, which people like chunky granola, some people don't. So, you know, whatever your family likes. But it's very wholesome. A little bit goes a long way. You can use this as a cereal. You can use it as topping over yogurt, or even a crumb topping over some pies if you want. It's already cooked, so I wouldn't cook it any longer, otherwise you'll risk burning it, and burnt granola just tastes nasty. But anyways, so that's what I'm doing today. And I just really love sharing these things with you because it's a blast making food that is healthy and wholesome, and that you can feel good about feeding your family because you know that there's no harsh chemicals, no GMOs, no artificial ingredients, no high fructose corn syrup, none of that junk in there. Everything that I made here today has wholesome, natural ingredients, and so I know my family's getting a good nutrition. So anyways, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment box below. You can also email me at gardengensjourney@gmail.com. Check me out over on Facebook. You can Instagram me, and I also do have my website, gardengensjourney.com. where you can follow me over there, and you can see some videos and my blog and things that's going on over there. So anyways, I hope you are having a blessed day. May God richly bless it for you and your family. Have a great day, people. Thank you so much for watching me. This is Garden Jen. Bye-bye now.